Hey, good morning to all the glam moms out there. Today is election day. I've got my red election shirt on, although I already voted, absentee ballot. Guess who I voted for? So today, one of the things I'm going to do on my to-do list, I got to make meatballs for Thanksgiving. So I try to do as many things ahead of time as I can, because we have a pretty big Thanksgiving dinner that involves soup, salad, gabardines or gnocchis, turkey, gravy, and all the trimmings, so it's many things, excuse me, so I can get done ahead of time. I do. So I'm going to make the meatballs, and we're going to go in the kitchen, and I'll share my recipe with you. So here's what we're doing. I already have 6 eggs scrambled in my bowl, to which I'm going to add 3 pounds of ground meat. That's 1 pound of beef, 1 pound of pork, and 1 pound of veal. And then I will add my breadcrumbs, which is about a ½ cup per pound. I will grate 1 piece of garlic, a pretty medium size. Add parsley and salt, and then our Pecorino Romano cheese. This is a brand I got at BJ's, and it's pretty good. So we're going to put all this together, and we'll come back in just a minute when we've got them ready to go in the frying pan. So let me continue on. One ingredient I left out, I forgot about, is that I also, to my meatballs, I add a bit of red wine. Now this red wine that I have, it's already open, it's Chianti. It's not my chosen wine, but every now and again with Italian food I like the Chianti. It's a little bit more on the dry side. This one, again, we got from either Costco or BJ's, one of the wholesale stores. And I usually don't spend more than $15 for a bottle of wine, because that's just too much, because I drink it every day. So that's that one tidbit about the ingredient that I left out. The other thing was I don't think I was too specific about the ingredients. So it's 1 pound each of beef, veal, and pork. To that mixture, for each pound of meat, I use 2 eggs, a ½ cup of breadcrumbs for each pound, so that was a cup and a half for everything, a teaspoon of salt for each pound, and a third of a cup of Pecorino Romano for each pound of meat. So that was 1 cup altogether of the cheese. And parsley, same, about a teaspoon per pound. And I grate the garlic. I try to get a medium size piece, and I grate that. I like it grated because I don't like to bite into garlic, but I love the flavor. So right now I've got the oil heating up. You can see over here. And the last thing I want to show you is that when you're making meatballs, so you take whatever amount you decide, however big you want your meatball. The thing you have to do is, let me go back here. You have to mix and mix and mix and mix. The best meatballs are the ones that are mixed really, really thoroughly. So you mix it really good, and then each bowl of meat that you are going to make a ball out of, first you want to roll it back and forth to get the air out of it, any air pockets. You just keep rolling it back and forth until you feel like you have all the little cracks and dents and bubbles out of it, and then very gently you're going to turn it and make it into a ball. So we're going to do that through the whole bowl. You should expect to get, with the ingredients I just gave you, you should expect to get about 10 meatballs per pound. So I know for Thanksgiving I need about 30 meatballs, and so there's my formula. 1 pound, 3 pounds, 10 meatballs a pound, and there you have it. So I'll finish this up and be right back. So I was telling you, now I'm putting the meatballs, the oil's just hot enough. I like to put about ½ inch of oil in the frying pan. I usually use canola oil with a little bit of olive oil in it, because olive oil it burns easier than other wines and other oils. And so while I'm doing this, I'm having myself the rest of that Chianti. And I was reading that the Chianti, in order for a wine to be called Chianti, it has to have about 80% of Sangiovese grapes in it. And the Chianti, that's the most widely, or the Sangiovese grapes are the most widely produced grapes in Italy. And so that's why Chianti, runs the gamut between, it can be kind of, like I said, dry, earthy, and rustic, or fruity, but no matter what, whether it's dry or it's fruity, you always kind of taste it's like you get this cherry flavor with a little hint of tomato in it, and so that's what makes it so delicious. So now we're going to cook these meatballs until they are crispy all around. I'm going to put them back into the bowl in which I mix them, and pop them in a Ziploc, and then right in the freezer for Thanksgiving. And so when I do that, and what I do when I always freeze my meatballs. I always like to have meatballs on hand for a company stops by or something, or unexpectedly you want to do something a little more special. You have it already ready. So what I do is when I heat up my sauce, and I put the meatball, after I get the sauce heated and it's just the way I want it, I put the meatballs, the frozen meatballs, in the sauce, and that way they defrost in there and they cook. They stay juicy. I get a little bit of the juice out into the sauce, but usually I make my sauce just like marinara sauce and put that in the freezer so I can make meatballs in it, or I can add mushrooms if I want mushroom sauce, or just sausage, however I want it. But it's hard to make some other flavors if you already have the meat flavor in all of your sauce. So that's how I do it. The only time I have meat flavored sauce is if it's left over and I freeze it. So you probably have bunches of meatball recipes, and if you went online, you'd have all kinds of people giving their opinions, etc. So you'll have to try it yourself. If you like it, you keep doing it. If you don't like it, you can tweak it, make it your own. Oh, and the one thing I forgot to tell you too, after I mix all the ingredients together, I taste the raw meat to make sure I got enough salt and enough cheese in there, because that's important to me. And the garlic, I always know the garlic's going to be just fine, but the salt and the cheese, I always got to make sure I got enough. So with that, enjoy. You'll have to let me know and subscribe. All right.